does intention consist of? So do you have to, now this is very important because our intentions now are very long. 4 rakat faraz of Isha, and then we make, behind the Imam, and we add the Qibla, and we add many things. Okay, so what does intention consist of? Number of rakats. Do you have to say the number of rakats when you're uh, in your intention? So the answer is it is recommended to do so, but you don't have to. So if you just said I'm reading faraz of Maghrib, for example, and you didn't say 3 rakats, your namaz is still done. That's why even if you made the verbal mistake in the instead of saying 3, you said 4, verbal, it doesn't count anyway. But specifying the number of rakats isn't necessary in intention. So even in your heart, you forgot to, bring it to your mind how many rakats you're reading, then the namaz will still be valid. But like I say, it's still recommended. Why? Because we have so many things in our mind now that when we're starting namaz, we have no idea what we're doing. We just come with our body parts is moving around, our mind is somewhere else. So we should bring it to our attention that this is the number of rakats I am praying. So number of rakats, wa alaikum assalam, no, it does not have to be made. Number two, number of prayer, and if it is a faraz or sunnah. So do you have to say I'm reading 3 rakats faraz of Maghrib? You have to say I'm reading 2 rakats sunnat of Maghrib? Yes or no? So the answer is when it is a faraz prayer or a wajib prayer, you must specify I'm reading 3 rakat faraz of Maghrib, or 4 rakat faraz of Zohar, 4 rakat faraz of Asr. But in a sunnat prayer, if you just said I'm reading namaz, that will actually suffice. You don't have to mention the name. In faraz and in wajib, you must say 3 rakat witr wajib, and in faraz 4 rakat faraz of Isha, for example. Like I say, all of these things, you might think I'm confusing you. Best thing is to say all of these things. Don't think it as necessary, but just to bring your mind, uh, you know, to focus what you're reading. But the reason I'm mentioning these things is if ever you forget to mention these things, you should know that my namaz is still valid or not valid. Number three is, do you have to make intention of facing the Qibla? So the answer is no. You don't have to specify that I'm facing the Qibla, that mu mera Qibla ka. If you don't say that, your namaz is still valid. So that's the addition. Okay. Intention of reading behind the Imam. Do you have to make intention for this? Yes. Okay. Now, like I say, intention behind reading behind the Imam, intention is to do with the heart. The Imam is reading, you've come behind, you're starting your namaz to follow him. That's the intention. The intention is there, you're reading behind him. That's your intention. Done. So even if you forget to verbalize it, as long as you know I'm reading behind him, that is fine. That is the intention, but you have to have that acknowledgement that you're reading behind the Imam. So that is necessary. Intention of being an Imam. So Hafiz Ibrahim down there, when you become Imam, inshallah, you have to make intention of being Imam, yes or no. So the answer is you don't have to make intention of being an Imam. Again, majority of the time, 99 times out of 100, when I'm going on that musalla, there's 3 safs, 3 rows here. I know everybody behind me is going to be following me. So that is essentially, like I say, intention. Intention is a matter of the heart. So you acknowledge that. There's another scenario, and that is when, for example, you're just reading your own salah. So this might happen to you for those people that are reading behind. You're reading your own salah. Somebody taps you on the shoulder because they want now making you imam. So this can happen, and this is permissible as well. Obviously, you shouldn't do it. Jamaat Saniya is completely different ruling. But for example, you're reading your own salah. Somebody missed the Jamaat. Now they're tapping you on the shoulder. They know you're reading Faraz as well. So they tap you on the shoulder. They're making you that imam. Now again, intention for imamat, once they've tapped you on the shoulder, they've given you the acknowledgement, they're following you, you don't have to make an intention, although the scholars then say that at that time you should acknowledge in your heart that you're leading them to be rewarded. So, to be rewarded, you'll make the intention for imamat then. And lastly, intention for women. Okay? Again, there's no only handful of you here that are present that might be an imam or lead women, lead next to another man in prayer or directly next to the imam in prayer. So this you won't see here. You'll see this more when you go Makkah Sharif, Medina Sharif, and you're doing tawaf on the top level, and Muazzin gives azan, and anybody stands anywhere. Okay, men will stand next to women. So at that time, our duty as men to move away from the women, because if you stand directly next to a woman, or you're behind the woman, then your salah is invalidated. Whether there is some leeway in haram or not, that is another masala. But I'm just talking about this. So, for example, a woman is stood next to a man. In that scenario, it will be necessary for the imam to have made intention for her namaz to be valid. But if she wasn't stood next to another man, she was just stood in the room behind. She was stood behind the men. Does the Imam have to make intention for her, yes or no? So the answer is there are two opinions. Some scholars say you have to make intention for women for their prayer to be valid, full stop. And some say no, if it depends. If they're next to a man, then yes. If not, if they're behind, then it'll be valid. Okay, so based on the fact that there are two different opinions, whoever the imam is, he should always be told that, number one, this is, if I'm stood here and there are women joining me upstairs, how am I meant to know? So the imam should be informed that women are going to be reading behind you. But if the imam didn't, we will take that second opinion that the namaz is valid as long as they aren't stood next to any men. So that is, I think, concluded our intention. Is there any other maslas remaining? Intention for qaza prayer. So if a person has missed many prayers, qaza prayers, and now he wants to make it up, how should he go about making the intention? So the way you should go about making the intention is you will say that I am reading the last Fajr prayer that I missed, or you can say that I am making the first Fajr prayer that I missed. So all you have to do is just specify that you're making a qaza prayer. Inshallah, your qaza salah will also be valid. So that was today.